So one of the things that this project brings up for many of us is that, okay, it's really cool technology and all the rest of it, but we also get video of 4 groups in a classroom. As you saw with all the cameras, there's 2 cameras pointing to every group. We get a whole view of what's going on in the classroom, visualized camera. And we pretty much don't have any of this type of data from classrooms in general. So we end up with 16, 18 streams of video at the end of every experiment. Our storage requirements are horrendous. Trying to work out what's going on in the group and how the teacher is supporting or not supporting, what the moves are and what the interventions are, is kind of a huge open problem, regardless of whether we're dealing with technology or not. And one of the questions that we have then is, how can the technology support the teacher's moves? Can we make it easy so that the screenshot from earlier where this teacher could see who was getting the sums right or wrong is one way of getting them, telling them who needs intervention, who needs help, who's just dreaming ahead, and you should be changing some, you should be making their tasks more difficult. So how can we build that into part of the technology? How can we use the technology to give the teachers a way of making collaboration easier to implement in classrooms? So we spent a lot of time looking at video and collaborative working. And there's a couple of reasons we wanted to show this today. One, because it's kind of cool. We spent a lot of time working on it, and it's beginning to open up the possibilities of how you look at groups over time. But also because it's a research tool that we've been developing as part of the project, and participating in the development of a research tool, I think, is an interesting aspect of what we're talking about here. The sort of iterative design. The PO is the guy who's done most of the programming on this, and we spent vast amounts of time going back and forth on what are the features that we need, how should this work. And 2 years in, we're just about getting it to a place where I like it. Chair over here, so to run this. But just to give you an idea of what it looks like, this is the tool. It usually plays off a much bigger screen than I have it on here, so you can't really see it as well as I would like. But play it.
It's true. I was in
So what you're seeing here, 2 different views of the same group, which is really nice to forget who's talking. The screenshots, obviously, which are just feeding in all synced up to start with. And then what we've been able to do here is create a transcript by, this is the teacher and each of the kids. This is why I say I need a bigger screen. You can't see them all here. But each of the kids end up with a transcript. And the lights, can we get the lights down a little bit? So what you can actually see, I hope you can see, sorry, I like staring at this stuff, is who's talking when. So you end up with this timeline approach. And one of the things that we really haven't been able to do yet with collaboration or with classroom work is understand what types of moves are important when and how are they happening. So this has been coded using a coding scheme that looks at levels of reasoning. So what you, I don't know, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully you can see the colors. This is our coding scheme on the side. So pre-structural is the lowest level of reasoning. Extended abstract is the highest. And what you can kind of see, I hope, is that we're getting more turquoise here. So low levels of reasoning to start with. This is where the teacher's intervening in the whole class. In the group, so they're low level, they're moving up a little bit higher level, and the teacher's intervening again in the whole class because this is the teacher bit. And then we're seeing them moving up to the highest level of reasoning. What's interesting, there's a number of things that are interesting to me. One of them is the fact that when the teacher's intervening, it's I don't know why, but it's changing how the groups are talking. Is it because what the teacher's doing is bringing up one of the kids' tables and saying, how are people solving this problem? Let's have a whole group of conversation about it and then go back and keep working on it. Or is it the fact that because the teacher's pausing and intervening, it's actually signaling to the kids, it's time to change strategy, you need to be thinking about something else. But we're seeing much higher levels of reasoning at this end of the class than we see when we have single groups working with the teacher in their presence. So there's something about the whole class collaboration that's actually pushing these kids to think about this in a more complex manner, which is obviously something we're going after and schools would like to see more of. Am I missing anything in this?
I think just get questions, we're overrunning slightly.
So how long does it take you to transcribe each one of these sessions, and how do you the attribution of the speech for each of the children, how automated is that?
It's not automated at all.
That would be nice. No format, overlapping
I
speech.
like that too, but that's
Yeah.
No, this takes about 3 to 4 times as long as the video, which is not bad. Usually, I was going to say 4 to 6 times is usually what you're looking at. It depends on who's doing it and all the rest of it and how used they are to the Northeast England accent, which kind of stuff almost every now and again. But basically what you do is you fill in your text along here and then you can zoom right in and you get the times saying exactly choose your child.
And it's particularly.
Look at me.
That's me.
I just created his speech. He's just there, basically. So it's
Because the collaborative work previously has very much looked at kind of averages or frequencies across a large data set. There's not much on time sequence, and clearly this offers the opportunity to look at the interaction in a more sequential way. It would also be nice if we could play this on the multi-touch table and also have a series of visualization tools that would plug in. I mean, you can see where we're going with the idea.
I'm sold on.
Well, that's it. Both of us have worked extensively in classroom observation, tracking, with the ability to capture that as kind of routinely when you're doing experimentation, and then coordinate the video streams is just a huge step forward.
If it crashes less often than NVivo, I'll have it right now.
Yes, it does. It is a little bit buggy, but we put up, but we put up with it for exactly the reasons you said yesterday.
who isn't talking. One of the things that I'm not sure we can actually see what he's saying at the end.
Most likely I use NVivo, which is horrible.
But I mean, in this, you can export the total time taught, just as a function of the coding, which you normally have to then calculate separately in something like NVivo. It's just.
Are you sharing the tool?
Yeah, this is one of the outputs from the project. This is one of the commitment is to make this open source.
I'll teach you guys.
When?
Need it
but
soon, I would have thought.
we're doing a little bit of. There's a couple of people around the world who have versions of it already and are testing it. I get slightly nervous because I've been the person working with it the most, and all the design decisions are what I think are easy. So we want the people to test it, see what else is actually easy to do.
Yeah, we've got a demo version. We could, we should be able to make that available.
Yeah.
You can just download it through our Dropbox link or whatever. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Keen to share it.
Yeah, we're keen to get it out there and being used and get some further development on it. So I'm particularly interested in the long terms. The way the projects work is you can just accrete coding, so you can just add coding, and then the idea is you should be able to merge it. And then I'm interested in what you could do in terms of visualizing what's happening. Because we tend to do things quite statistically in terms of analysis, so we'll sort of run out of those frequencies or whatever, but actually just playing with the data and being able to see and explore hypotheses in the coding is, I just think, a really powerful part of what we're looking at.
Does it also support coding of filter gestures?
Yes, you could code straight off the video, you just add a channel. It would depend on whether you want to do it at table level or at subject level.
But in the transcription you would need to bring it into that one line.
No, the coding channel just gets added to either the subject or to the group. So it would depend on whether you wanted to code gestures that an individual was making or that the group, but the table was experiencing. So that makes sense. But you could do either. So you could.
So is there a way to do it not on a sub, because it's referenced by sub, like group, then person in the group, right? So all the stuff that I observe is to do with functional channels rather than interpersonal channels.
Yeah, it would just be how you set them.
But that would just.
That's how you set the project up. Because we've conceptualized as actors.
All I've been looking at is splitting up whole class and just doing time on task. So you create channels for whole class.
But yeah, you could create those channels to find the attributes in whatever way you wanted.
Does it work not on a Mac?
It works on
Eclipse.
Windows and Mac versions.
Is that?
It's Java.
Yeah.
Between
it does need a light screen.
Okay. Sorry, we've overrun slightly in terms of.
Thank you very much, guys.